Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mina. In this video you're going to learn how to make this asymmetric neckline and hemline top. If this looks like what you're interested in, please stick around and don't forget to like and subscribe. Also leave a comment in the comment section. Let's get started, guys. In my previous video, we did the drafting of this asymmetric neckline and hemline. I will be leaving the link in the description so you go watch that if you haven't watched it already. I will advise you watch it first if you have not watched it already so you really understand what we are doing here. So we use slash and spread method to achieve what you are seeing right now. We actually slash from the bust point to the waistline by 3 inches away from the next one, and we also spread this paper by 3 inches away from the next one. So I'm adding half inch to this side we actually slash and spread. For the down part, I'll be adding 1 inch seam allowance. To this side front, I added half inch seam allowance to it, but I later trim out the half inch because we've already added 1 inch seam allowance to the pattern paper when we were drafting. So adding this half inch again to this side is going to be like 1.5 inches, so it's actually too much for me, so I decided to take out the half inch that I added to this side. I'm also adding half inch to the shoulder. I will as well add half inch to the neckline, but I'm not going to add any allowance to my armhole. Okay, after adding the half inch round, the next step is to cut it out. So I'm following the half inch line to cut it out as shown. Like I said earlier, I added half inch to this side, but I later trim out the half inch that I added. Here is it, guys. I've trimmed out the half inch that I added to the side front. The next step is to transfer this part that I labeled join to fabric. So I've gone ahead to fold these pieces slantly. You can see how I folded it. I'm going to place it. That part that looks slanted is going to be towards this slanted part. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pin it down. I'll go ahead and add half inch to this upper part. You know, we added half inch to the neckline, and this is part of the neckline, so I'll be adding half inch seam allowance to this part as well. To this side, I will not be adding any seam allowance to it because that is the armhole. You know, we did not add half inch to the armhole, so there is no point adding half inch to this part. So we'll be adding half inch seam allowance to the down part as well. So basically we are adding half inch to only the upper part and the down part. To the side, we are not adding any seam allowance to it. Okay, the next step is to cut it out. So this is how it looks after I was done cutting it out. The next step is to notch where I want my slit to start from. From this front part, I'll notch where I want my slit to start from. So from the full length line, you can see from the full length line, I'll come up by 3 inches. I'll go ahead and mark where I have 3 inches. That is where I want my slit to start from. So I'll go ahead and notch that part. Here is the side front. I've gone ahead to transfer it to fabric. I also added half inch to the side where we are going to join, but to this other side I did not add any allowance to it. The down part I added 1 inch seam allowance as well. So from this line of full length, you can see I'm also going to come up by 3 inches as well so I can notch it. Okay, so that is where our slit is going to start from on this side by the time I join it together. Okay, I've gone ahead to transfer the back pattern to fabric as well. You can see on the shoulder part I added half inch. On the neckline I also added half inch to it, but to the zipper part I did not add any seam allowance to it, and to this side I did not add any seam allowance to it. Like I said, we've already added 1 inch seam allowance to the side. So the down part I added 1 inch. I've gone ahead to draft and cut my sleeve. If you want me to make a detailed video on how to go about the drafting of a basic sleeve, let me know in the comment section. So I'll go ahead and unpin this paper so we can start. So I'll go ahead and run a straight stitch from the bust point to the waistline. Then I'll do my gathers just around that area. It's not going to get to that part that I notched, right? It's just going to concentrate from the bust point to the waistline. I'll take it to my sewing machine and make gathers around that area. I'll bring it back so you have a clear understanding of what I'm trying to explain. So here is how it looks after I was done gathering that area together. The next step is to join this side front back. So I'm trying to check which side is the right side so I can join it back. Note your slash and spread method must be done on the right side. Even when you're checking your seam allowance, it has to be on the right side. So the next step is to join this side front back. I'm using my pin to secure it. You know, we left half-inch seam allowance for the joining. So I'm also going to follow the half-inch seam allowance that I left to join this part together. So I will join from the bust point down to where I have my notch. When I get to the notch point, I'll stop. So here is how it looks after I was done joining it together. The next step is to cut out my facing. I'll place these pieces on top as shown. Then I'll go ahead and trace out half of the shoulder and the neckline as shown. For the whiteness, I'll be using 2 inches. The next step is to join these other pieces back to the neckline. This other side we cut out when we were drafting. We are going to join it back. So I'll open up the facing as shown. So I'll go ahead and join it back. Okay. Then I'll use my pin to secure it. I'm going to sew this with half of an inch that I left as my seam allowance. So I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll join it back with half of an inch. So I'll equally cut out facing for the back as well. So when I take it to my sewing machine, I can just join both of them at once. So I'll be tracing out the neckline, the same thing I did to the front. Then for the whiteness, I'll be using 2 inches as well. So I'll also join it with half of an inch as well. I will equally do the same thing to this other side. I will also chalk my 1 inch zipper allowance. So after turning the neckline with my facing, I'll also join the zipper allowance as well. I'll be using a loose stitch to join this part because I'm still going to open it up to fix my zipper. This was it after I was on turning the neckline with my facing. I've gone ahead to sew the zipper allowance as well. The next step is to flip it to the right side so I can place the front on it. I went ahead to join this part. You can see how it looks. The next step is to join the shoulder together. So I'm placing both of them front to front. So I'll go ahead and join the shoulder with half of an inch that I left for my seam allowance. I'm done stitching the shoulder together. The next step is to join the side using my accurate body measurement. So from the shoulder line, I'll come down by 7.5. It's just around the shoulder, the chest line rather. So you can see how I placed my tape. I'm going to mark my bust circumference, which is 8.5. I'm sorry guys, this side I didn't know it wasn't reflecting. So on the waistline, I will also take my waist circumference, which is 6.5. You can see how I placed my tape. The essence of me sewing the 1 inch zipper allowance was for me to follow that line to shaping my top. Okay, so I've gone ahead to mark waist circumference, which is 6.5, and on the down part I'll take my hip circumference, which is 9. The next step is to connect them together. I'll connect my waist measurement to the hip measurement. I'll also connect from the bust measurement to the waist measurement. I will equally do the same thing to this other side. I placed my tape on the center back and I went ahead to take my bust circumference, which is 8.5. On the waistline, I took my waist circumference, which is 6.5. On the down part, I took my hip circumference, which is 9. So I'll go ahead and join them together from the waist to the hip and from the bust point to the waist as shown. So I'll take it to my sewing machine to join the two sides together. I've gone ahead to sew my sleeve. The next thing is to attach it to the top. So I'll flip it to the right side as shown. I'll notch the midpoint of my sleeve. I place the sleeve, the front side facing the front side of the top. So the midpoint of my sleeve will be joined to the shoulder as shown. Then I'll use my pin to secure it. While the part that has joining, I'm going to join that part to the armhole side. I will equally use my pin to secure it. When you are doing this, make sure the sleeve aligned with the armhole. So that's the essence of using the pin to pin it round. When I'm done pinning this side together, I'll equally do the same thing to the second sleeve. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine to stitch them together. So here is how it looks after I was done joining it together, but I'm yet to iron it out. I'll do that before I add my zipper. So the next step is to iron it out, then I'll attach my zipper to it. I'm done attaching my zipper to it. I went ahead to weave it round. You can see how neatly it's looking. I also use hemming gums to hem the down part of my sleeve and also the down part of my top. I'm going to flip it to the right side so you see how it's looking. So here is the final look of our top, guys. You can see how neat and beautiful it's looking. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please just click on the subscribe button and also like the video. If there is any part you do not understand, please let me know in the comment section. I will attend to all your questions. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video. Bye.